Welcome to ASAP Elite, achievement, success, and perseverance. Our next guest is the epitome of hard work, dedication, and leadership. We are honored to bring to you magnificence at its finest. Please allow us to introduce our next guest, current linebacker coach at Arizona State University, former NFL linebacker, and Butkus Award winner, Coach Chris Claiborne.
Man, thank you for having me, man. Good job, man. There you go. That's a hell of an introduction, man.
Hey, and I will say, man, look, if it wasn't a fan, because usually I don't put nothing back here but Cowboys.
Because
man, you know since we was kids, I've been a Cowboy
man.
fan.
You love them damn Cowboys, man.
Yeah, man. But home team, I'll put the Detroit Lions back there for the home team.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you, dog. You know what I mean? We grew up from the cradle all the way up, man. So
yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Spending the night at each other's house, growing up. Y'all the only ones that got me to play baseball, man. Got me to play baseball. Yeah. So.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, man.
When I found out you were being drafted by the Detroit Lions, man, I was all in, man. Because I'm from Detroit.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was there, when you got drafted, man. I was telling everybody about you, all the stories that Professor Haas used to tell me. I was just so excited. And I met you back then too, way back then. But
way
a long
back
time
then.
ago, man. Old man, we are old men now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I wasn't this fly guy that I was now, and I am now back then.
Shoot, I was 20 when I got drafted, so that's 20 years ago.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is I remember that day like it was yesterday because I was in Kansas at a track meet, and they had started the draft and everything, and I was like, all right, I got 30 minutes before I need to go warm up, and I was just like, all right, I ain't leaving until Chris comes off the board, and so I'm sitting there, man. Look, I was late to get to my warm ups to run my event because I was just like, because right when you went, I was like, all right, he picked, I'm gone. Ran over to the stadium to go warm up.
Hey man, like I said, we've been knowing each other since we was kids, man. And
yeah, man.
Shoot, I appreciate your support. You know what I mean? I always try to keep it hometown, represent the IE East Side. You know what I mean? Best I can. So, man, I appreciate the loyalty, and I always try to be loyal back. That's my main thing in life. Is loyalty is everything.
Yeah. We've been blessed to bring to our audience and our platform, guests that, exemplify leadership, integrity, honor, and ways that we can help educate, and inspire them. And so thank you for coming on, man, and, being able to help us with that.
Well, man, like I said, you got guys that come before you. And I think a lot of people don't appreciate that and honor that. You got the Sammy Knights of the world. You know what I mean? Sammy Knight, man, is one of the best football players I've ever seen in my life. Mm-hmm. He put an impression on me early. I was a freshman. He's at Rubidoux High School. I think his senior year, he had something like 18 picks. You know what I mean? Totally dominated games. You know what I'm saying? So growing up and knowing when I was going to SC, I knew that I had to hold the stick at a high level because I was not only representing my hometown, but the guys that was already there before and had put their foot down. So guys like Sammy Knight, man, like I said, he definitely set a high standard for me and helped me grow as a person and a man.
That's very interesting that you brought up.
Very interesting. Yeah, absolutely.
Because I want to play something for you. One second.
No, one person near and dear to my heart that you played with, he was a freshman your senior year, is Chris Claiborne. The award winner. Actually, he was going to be a guest of ours in the future as well.
But Clay's going to kill me on that because he's going to hit me up. That's my dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Clay is from the crib, so me and Clay, I've been knowing Clay since we played RJTFL football in youth football, and his brother Adrian was a beast. So what's funny about that is I was a senior and he was a freshman, so I always mention the freshman later on. But no, Clay was so cold, man. He coming in as a freshman, he came in like no other freshman probably in USC history. It was unbelievable for him to come in and just start right away, and not only start but really command the team the way he commanded the team. So. That's one thing about Chris, man, is his leadership and his intelligence, man. And also his humbleness. He was humble as well. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I love playing with Chris.
Hey, man, shout out to Chris also for just coming up on that Arizona State linebacker coach.
I got a little love, baby. That's what's up.
Yeah, Sammy was our first. He was the guest of our first show ever, man. And you know, that was one thing we had to definitely bring that up. You know, because like I said, I remember that, especially freshman year. I remember freshman year and senior year, or your junior year, the best. And just because, like I remember your very first game, you got the fumble touchdown. I'm in the cafeteria at my university acting a fool. They're like, man, you don't go to USC. I'm like, man, that's the home team, bro. Man, y'all gone. So when y'all cheer for OU, get out my face.
Hey, man, like I said, dog, you gotta pay homage only to the people that did it before you and did it beside you. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
and that dude right there, man, that dude. Man, I'm telling you, that dude, it was a monster. I'm talking about coming in freshman year, playing alongside him. He fade people out, man, and standing over him, doing the cross. And I mean, no, that dude was I'm telling you, he was a straight. So I had to be, you know what I mean? It was like, I'm biting from the time I get on deck. I'm biting. I'm locking. So yeah, bro, y'all kicked it off with a boom with him.
My man.
He don't get to me like he should be. When I get the opportunity, I'm gonna try to vote him in to USC Hall of Fame, because he deserves to be there. And I think that they kind of like, they talk about Troy Polamalu, you know what I mean, and not to knock what Troy did, because he's done, you know, some amazing things, but that Sammy Knight, dog, was on that same level. I'm talking about. He was a beast, dog, and very successful from the time he was there.
Yeah, versatile too. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You can't move everybody into the linebacker position like they did Sammy his senior year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was like that rover guy. Yeah, he was like one of the first guys to kind of play like that college, like I guess nickel, like, or like what you was talking about earlier.
Hybrid.
How your nephew is a guy that's a guy that can still run but still play in the box.
Yeah.
That was Sammy. You know what I mean? That was Sammy in 98. You know what I mean? 96. So yeah, 97 actually was the year. 97, that was Sammy doing it way back then.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's get into it, man. So prior to Riverside, California, how were you introduced to football, and introduce yourself, walking us through up until recruitment?
Oh, shoot. I'd be like Hyatt Elementary to University Heights, junior high, from 12th Street to Ohio Street, East Side boy, Riverside, California, Chris Claiborne.
Oh, man. So
when recruiting started, right? Recruiting is different now, and the publicity and stuff is on another level. But I played varsity as a sophomore. My junior year is when I really exploded on the scene. My first scholarship offer was to Fresno State, and I got that. My brother was at Fresno State at the time, and I went up there and did a camp. I did a full contact camp. My coach didn't really want me to go. Coach Paredes at the time, I was going into my junior years after my sophomore year. Went up to the camp and tore the camp up. So they offered me, came home, and that was the first time Mark Paredes, he was our new coach. He took over the program, and I was playing linebacker and tight end at the time. Excuse me. So once then, that next offseason, it was crazy. And that's when you had to send out, you know, he made the highlight and send it in the mail to the school.
VHS.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it was crazy because Notre Dame had always been one of my favorite schools growing up, because we've seen so much of them on TV. You know, Ricky Waters, Ishmael, Tony Rice, and, you know, Anthony Bennett. Like, you had, you know what I mean, Jerome Bettis. You had so many dudes. So he was asking me, you know, what other school did I like? And I told him Notre Dame, and he sent my film out there, and man, they offered me, and they came out, and that was one of my 5 trips. So I had about maybe 30 to 40 offers for schools, but I knew that the only school that I would leave far from was Notre Dame at the time. And it was Arizona. U of A at the time had a very good defense. They had the Desert Swarm thing going with Teddy Bruschi and those guys. You had Texas. You had a lot of California guys going to Texas at the time. You had Brian Westbrook was there. You had Ricky Williams was there. And then the dude named Clarence Martin was there. He's a D tackle. So those three guys are there. And he ended up hosting me. Then I went to Colorado. So Colorado, Rick Neuheisel was there. And Darren Chiaverini was there. And I, they wanted me to play the mic. And the coach that was recruiting me, he's still there. Coach Cabral, not necessarily coaching, but he was a dude that was a great recruiter. Just very humble, just talk. He told me my senior year, I didn't even need to play. He's like, look, so he was trying to sneak me out the back door. He was like, don't play and just sign right now. Come on. Right. But I was like, man, I got to play. You know what I mean? This is the last time I'm going to get to play with all my homeboys, the dudes I grew up with. Hassan wanted to move to Texas, so I couldn't play with him. He had run the track over and doing his thing in Texas. He's supposed to play with us, and then my last trip was USC. And I was a dual sport player at the time. So I had a couple offers for basketball and a couple people offered me to do both. But my last trip was to USC, and I only really stayed for 24 hours. I had a basketball game, so I came up, spent some time, hollered at Sammy. We went to go eat. Then the next day I had to get back. You know what I mean? That was one of the things I did do that helped me was I took all my trips in the off season. So when football, I didn't take it during football season, right? Because we were playing. But two, I wanted to take it when it was no football and to see what real life was like. Yeah. So when I went to Texas, it was nice. And then I went outside and it was freezing. So it was sunny, right? From the hotel room, it was sunny. I had some shorts on. Back in the day, you throw your structure on. I had my structure shorts on, structure shirt. I walk outside and it's cold as hell. So I walk back in. I'm like, damn. Call my mom, because my family's originally from Louisiana. So that would have been a good midpoint. And we got a lot of family in Houston and stuff. It would have been a good place to be, you know what I mean? As far as family being able to see me play. But it was freezing. So I called my mom like, man, it's cold. And it was a solid trip, but it didn't feel like home. So then I go to Colorado, had a great time there. Damn near almost committed. Me, Ralph Brown, Mike Brown, it was like David Gibson, like four or five of us almost committed on that trip. And I held off on it, came back, and that kind of wore down. And then went to Notre Dame, and it was cold.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
the Indiana weather.
Like for real cold.
Like for real cold, dog. Like the I seen the lake. Lou Holtz lived off the lake. And that joint was, man, that thing was so, boy.
Yep. Welcome to how I grew up.
Man, the cold thing is when I went to Detroit, I got that new shock too. Like, it was vicious, right? So, but went there and Lou Holtz was cool. And Bob Davies was recruiting me. He was a defensive coordinator. And a guy named Tom McMahon was the DB coach at the time. They recruited. They did a good job recruiting me. And but when I went out with the players, I went out with Corey Minor. We got a flat tire. Man, had to get out in that cold. Went back to the hotel, called my mom. I'm like, I'm coming home.
Right.
Yeah, it's over. You know what I mean? And maybe it was God's intervention or whatever, but I ended up being where I needed to be. And, that was the greatest decision I ever made, man. And the other thing was Coach Robinson giving me number 55. So, that was my recruiting in a nutshell. It was crazy. You had to, back then you had the phone, you had to click over. So I'll be on the phone talking to a coach, somebody beep in, I click over because I had to click over because it could be mom's church friend calling. So I had to click over, and I might be on the phone with Washington, and then, Oregon a call, you know what I mean? And I decide who I was going to talk to. I'd be like, Coach, can I call you back, or can you call me back in 10 minutes? And so it got hectic. It got real hectic, but we handled it and had a great time with it, and man, it worked out for me at the end of the day.
You know, you actually said something that I really want to make sure that our audience hears. You said that you took your recruiting visit in the off season so that you could see what life really looks like, because you can, you know, if you go during your sports during the season of your sport, it's easy to make it look like it's like what it's not going to be all the time. And I think
Right.
that's extremely important, because a lot of times, you know, you go to the football state, and even they still do it even when it's off season. They'll put your picture up, you in the jersey, up on the screen, on the Jumbotron, and show it that way. But the thing is that I think that is a really good indicator of what life is going to be like when you're on campus, right? Because it's not always going to be football season, or it's not always going to be basketball season, or, you know, for me, it was not always going to be track season. So you want to look and see what life is going to look like when it's not your season. And I think that is a very good nugget to share with our audience. And I appreciate you for sharing that.
Yeah, man. You know, one thing is, like, you got to understand that that's where you're going to live. And I think a lot of people get caught in the hype, and, shoot, if I'm a player, I'm definitely looking, not just because I coach here, but I'm looking at Arizona State because it's a cool state. It's very relaxed, and I think once we get it going, which we'll get it going this year, football, they gonna fall in love with their football. So you got to take your trip when you want to live there on a normal day-to-day basis, because that's what it really gets down to. And a lot of guys can't stay out of trouble. So if you can't stay out of trouble, you definitely can't be bored. You got to be somewhere where you can be able to handle your business and be successful.
Continuing on, can you walk us through your college experience and then through the draft process and ultimately through your career as a pro?
Now,
now
before you do that, here one thing that I want to kind of preface this, because I'm looking at your college experience and you know, of course, I followed you through high school, and going in, I believe it was number 2 linebacker behind Andy Katzenmoore that went to Ohio State. You know, and then I think number 16 overall ranked player in the country, which is bananas. And so, you know, you're going to still one of the most decorated high school players. Forget just linebackers, but players in the entire country. And, you know, so now you have all these expectations, and on top of the fact that you're indirectly competing with these other guys who were in the upper echelons as well. So that's one thing I want to lay that out for our audience, just because that was something that I experienced, because that's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, man. You know, I think growing up in our environment is always competitive when we were younger. Like, that ain't, like, doing that is not new to me. You know what I mean? And it never felt like pressure. It was just something that we did. Either you balled or you didn't. And we were like 4th, 5th graders playing against the 6th graders, having to tackle these fools. And, you know, I was a bigger kid, but mentally, then that's what you got to understand. Mentally, that's the change. So I played against my brother all the time, who was 4 years older than me, had to hit him, tackle him. He was knocking me around. I wasn't worried about nobody my age. You know what I mean? That was the last thing I was worried about. So when it comes to the process of leaving high school and going into college and competing, they offered me the opportunity to compete as a freshman. So I was determined to do that. And like I said, everything I try to do, I try to make sure I represent our hometown. And so people know, because, you know, Riverside is now known, right? It's a known thing now. But when we were coming up, a lot of people didn't know about Riverside. So I know that was the only pressure I tried to make sure I did. I carried that on my back. And not only was I from Riverside, I was from the east side of Riverside. So
right, get it right, east side, baby.
Yeah, so that was the thing. That was the only pressure I think that I put on myself. But when it came down to playing, like, let's play. And what I always tell the kids before was, we don't have no names on our backs. So the only way they're gonna know who you are is if you ball. right? They're going to say, oh, in high school it was number 30 on the run or number 30 on the tackle or whatever. And then when you got to college, it was like 55 on the tackle. So I'm going to make sure they call my name as many times as I can and have Keith Jackson talking about, oh, Nelly, you know, there goes 55. I was all over. That was my mentality. I'm going to make you notice me.
Right.
I'm going to make you notice me. And then they told me my sophomore year, if I balled my junior year, I could leave. So being able to have that option and changing my life was the next thing, right? I was looking forward to that opportunity. So once that happened, that was like, that's all we asked for, right? We grew up in the hood. Like, all we asked for is opportunity. Real dudes.
Growing up broke, the thing is, we didn't know how broke we was because everybody was broke, bro.
Man, and we shared everything, man. You know what I'm saying? With $1, you could go get you a 25-cent taco from the Super Saver and a 25-cent soda, and we was tight. We was straight.
And then if you wanted some ice cream, you can go to Thrifty's over there by the Chuck E. Cheese. Look, right, and look, you go to Chuck E. Cheese, we don't even need no money. We just go into Chuck E. Cheese and chill. See, y'all don't know that the Chuck E. Cheese
jumping
over
the balls for 5 hours, man.
What?
And they telling, y'all got to get out of here, man. We done took over Chuck E. Cheese, man. And had the hole in the quarter, man. And you know what I'm saying? At the bowling alley, getting them. So
the bowling alley,
you know, all that stuff was nice, man. My biggest pressure I always put on myself is to always put out a good product. So that's my pressure that I put on myself. That's my pressure I put on myself today. As a linebacker coach, is to get my position to play at the highest level possible and to help my kids develop and get to where they want to go. Gotcha. That's the pressure. And when I got to Detroit, you know, I wanted to play at a high level, but I wanted to play Mike linebacker. You know what I mean? They drafted me and put me at outside. I really wanted to play Mike, and they had a really good linebacker there, Stephen Boyd. So I had to wait my turn. But I definitely wanted to play Mike linebacker from the time I got there. And I think for Detroit, the organization as you see it now, it's just kind of been like, we had a good team my rookie year. And that was a year that Barry retired.
Yep.
We went 9-7. If we would have had Barry, we go 12-4, 13-3 possibly.
Yep. Hey, before you get into that Detroit experience and your draft experience, I want to recognize that I just received a message from two people, actually. Mr. Larry Lee.
Larry Lee. Yes, sir.
Big things for the culture and for the culture of the NFL right now with the Fritz Pollard Alliance. He said, congratulations. Congratulations. He know that you'll get that linebacker core playing at top-notch level. And also, Mr. Juan Roque just messaged me also.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. He showed mad love too, man. So there you go.
I know. We played against each other, I think, 3 times when I was at SC, and 2 of them we played at the Sun Devil Stadium. I played against them twice, actually. Oh, yeah. And I've had some of my best games at Sun Devil Stadium, and we still came up short. They was on at that point. Yeah, man, I appreciate those gentlemen showing me some love, man. I just try, like I said, I always try to be consistent as a person, and no matter where you at, man, you holler at me and I can help you, I will. So, man, and to Larry Lee, man, much love. I see you. I need to hear you on that bass one more time here soon. Let me know. You know what I'm saying? But
it's funny that you even say that, because you talk about Larry Lee being on the bass, and when we had Larry Lee on, he talked about hearing, you know, Coach Penn's dad on the guitar, and that's what got him really interested in playing instruments. So you know, just seeing the full circle, if you will, the fact that you're talking about hearing him on the bass, and when he was on, he was talking about being in the huddle and hearing Coach Penn's dad do a solo. Yeah. So much so that he left his focus from the game and started like, man, this dude is killing it over there.
Yeah, just going into the draft. We talked about going to the draft. I was a little beat up actually at the time going into the draft. I'm moving around, like to get to the office a little early, but I was getting ready for the draft. I was just a little beat up, man. My body was a little beat up, and so that was we had to rehab for the first couple weeks of getting ready for the draft. And once that happened, I think the biggest thing that people wanted to see from me was how fast I would run. I think they didn't understand that I can run. I was a big dude, right? Big old linebacker that could run. So I was I weighed in at I think 251 maybe, like 6'3" and a half, 251, and ran a 4.62, right? So they was like, man. Then the first time I ran a 4.59, then I came back and hit him with a 4.62. So yeah, that was the thing that they needed to see from me, and they was able to see from me, and then all the other stuff. I think I just handled my business. I accomplished what I need to accomplish.
Yeah.
So we get draft day comes. I know that I'm going in the top 10. So they see me. They tell me I'm going to the top 10. I just don't know where. I was supposed to go to the Colts, and the Colts was my favorite team growing up. That was my spot because I like Marshall Faulk from what he had did at
San Diego State.
At San Diego State. Yeah, loved it. So even going back there, my sophomore year, I rocked number 28. I thought I was going fourth to the Colts. The Colts was my team, right? And then they traded Marshall Faulk. So they went and got Edgerrin James, which, I mean, like I said, it was a great pickup for them. And then I ended up going to 9th to Detroit. And the reason I ended up at Detroit at 9th, because I think Detroit tried to come up and get me at a higher pick, and they wouldn't let it happen. But the reason that went down was because Reggie from Texas A&M, remember Reggie?
Reggie Brown?
I can't remember his name, the linebacker. Reggie Brown hurt his neck.
Yep.
Yeah, Reggie Brown hurt his neck. So that was one of the reasons I also ended up going to being there.
Okay, cool. Well, you had a pretty good career, man, as a professional. But following your professional career, you then entered the coaching realm. What challenges did you overcome when it comes to seeing the game from a different perspective, like the sideline?
When you coaching, man, you dealing with I applaud all high school and youth coaches because you got to deal with a lot of parents and stuff too. And they got their own agendas, right? That have nothing to do with what you're trying to do as a team. So, that was kind of the biggest thing to me is seeing that dealing with that. Because I thought it was about, just about the team in whole, but everybody had their own little thing. So, you had to understand it, honestly, learn to understand it and adjust. But I loved seeing kids develop, and I love seeing people be successful with you. You know what I mean? I want to see you be successful. So that's the part that I loved and enjoyed more than anything.
Moving from a player to a coach, it was seeing things as an individual and then having responsibility for the entire picture.
Yes, and understanding that it's not about you.
Yep, that's right. Yep.
It's not about you. It's about the kids, and you got to find a way to get the kids to play at the level that they're supposed to play at, not anything else.
It wasn't until I began coaching and I had success as a coach that I experienced what football is all about. Everything that it brings, the unity, getting guys to come together for a bigger cause,
Yeah,
definitely, man. It was beautiful.
Or just getting everybody to understand the same theme, or we moving in the same direction, right? Because when you're dealing with, a number of guys, you got so many different personalities. You got to get everybody to get on the same page. That's why I think certain coaches get a lot of respect. I give respect to Bill Belichick because he's able to constantly get dudes to play on the same level. Now, maybe a lot of people underestimated how good Tom Brady was too. But maybe he took those same things and took them and applied them with Tampa Bay. Yep. You know what I mean?
You're right. Yep.
Yeah, one of the things that when you guys talk about, because I know for me, I tell people all the time, track did a lot for me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get to play it didn't get to run at the level you got to play football at. But the thing is it got me an education. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I was an All-American in high school. And, you know, the thing is when I look at my running, my career as a runner, truth be told, I have to say I enjoyed my years as a coach even more. And I remember being a coach. I refer to myself as a motivator. You had mentioned that and what you said, because for me, it was about motivating these kids to give you everything that they have, put their trust in you so that you can bring the most out of them.
Yes.
And so that was something that I truly enjoyed, taking a kid. Like there were times where I would tell a kid that I'd be like, okay, you know, our goal this year is to get you to this time. And I'd have him say, oh, coach, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to run that fast. Mm-hmm. And I said, listen, I said, that's okay. I said, do you trust me? And he's like, yeah, oh yeah, coach, I trust you. I trust you. I said, all right, if you trust me, we'll get you there. The thing is when I would tell a kid that, we usually went faster than they thought. And I was like, so what do you think about that conversation we had at the beginning of the season? Mm-hmm. And they just, sit there and smile. And so for me, the bringing that out of an individual that didn't think it was there, like that is a feeling that I can't explain. And for me, that beat the feeling of winning a championship. That beat the win, the crossing the line first and being able to hold your hand up, put that gold medal around your neck. Like that was a feeling that, is honestly, man, addictive.
Yes. And I think, success comes in many ways, right? Success comes in many ways, but I think ultimately, everybody being able to get what they want out of the situation is the key.
Yes.
Everybody getting what they want is the key. That's what I said. All right, we winning. We doing all right. You know what I mean? And I'm shoot, like I said, it's been a great ride so far. I mean, I took a lot of I went to Long Beach, probably met AP there, and now we back together, coaching here. Started my own program, or restarted when I went back to Calabasas and did that. So I grinded, man, and I went from the bottom all the way up. You know what I mean? So I don't take any of it for granted. And again, I just, it's all about the kids, man.
Yeah, definitely.
All about the kids.
I was definitely corresponding with you when you were at Calabasas. Oh yeah, you did some great things there.
Yeah, we put it together, man. Good.
Hey, I do have a question in terms. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no, it's just one thing that I wanted to pull out is you talked a lot and everything you did about the team concept. You know what I'm saying? We talked. Sammy Knight talked about how it was to play with you as a team. Mm-hmm. And the thing is for someone of your caliber, especially coming in, even to a school as prestigious as USC. I mean, there was a lot of fanfare behind you, and so it could have been easy for you to worry about you, right? And you talk about the other teammates you have. That team concept is something, man. And the fact that there's so many players nowadays that only worry about themselves and not the team.
That's right.
And, and it's a breath of fresh air to hear you talk about that, because I think our audience needs to hear that.
Well, and this is the thing, man. At any position, right? It takes other people to make things happen, right? If I play quarterback, I got to make sure, I got to know that my line is going to protect me so I can play at the level I want to play at. Every level on the defense or offense that you play at, you're relying on other people to do their job.
That's right.
So for you to think that it's only about you, you're going to learn very fast that you're not going to be very successful. It's not going to happen. And I just learned that early. I wasn't always a star growing up, so it didn't affect me when it became a situation where I was the guy. I didn't live my life like that. You know what I mean? I still don't live my life like that. I just, every day, God, just trying to do the right thing and making sure, my family's happy.
Yeah, and I will say this. Look, you could probably get that over on somebody else, but you was a star always growing up. Don't tell. We've been boys since 5, bro. Come on, man. Look, hey, and see, that's the thing about it. Like y'all, see, there's stuff that y'all don't know about Chris. Like Chris played a half a season. He wasn't. Nobody's ever made the All-Star team on a playing in our league playing only a half a season, and Chris made the All-Star team. And then Chris, like I said, he talked about playing basketball. Chris was a dope basketball player. You know what I'm saying? And then let's take it away from sports. Chris could sing his behind off. Chris,
Oh,
he
really?
played the drums.
Oh, really?
Look, this dude
Church,
was a
man.
star in everything
They
he
had
did.
me at
Look,
the church, man.
yeah, man. Look, I remember going to the church. Chris like, hey, I was excited because I heard him play at the house, but he had the setup at church. So I went to church with him one time, and he was just killing it on the drums. I was just like, and then like I told you, like my mom still talks about when she heard you sing. She said, I did not know Chris. Cause I said, yeah, Chris do a little bit of everything, man. Look, then when we was in elementary, Chris beat me in the for student council president. You remember that?
Oh wow! But I couldn't beat you racing. I know that.
I had to have something.
I do want to ask about recruiting with the addition of COVID. How has that affected you in your recruiting process so far?
Well, this is basically will be my first full year. When I was at SC, it was tough, man, because all you could do is go off the last year's film. But I mean, at the end of the day, too, as a coach, you got to be able to see a player and see how he fits into what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So every time I watch film, I'm looking at, okay, can he do what we need him to do? Can I coach this? What does he look like when he runs? Is he fluid? Does he pick his knees up? Does he not? Those are the things that I look at. Is he an explosive tackler? You know, if you can't if you're a guy that in high school that are grabbing people and pulling them down and not knocking them down, you have a hard time in college, right? Because they're bigger, faster, stronger situations. So that's what I'm looking at. So you got to be able to evaluate the talent, that's for sure. But I mean, I think it's definitely hard because you want guys to see you, you want to see them, you want to be able to touch them and get to really know them. Because if you're gonna be with me every day, right? If me and you we gonna rock, and I'm telling you, I'm gonna look out for you. I want to know you as a person, and I want to know all the things about you so that I can help you on your good days and I can help you on your bad days.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? Because again, I've been in that position, so I care about the dude, and that's what mentally is going to help them. They young kids, 17, 18 to 22 years old, man, and they need to continue to be developed, and they need to know that you care, and you need to be able to show their parents the same thing. You need to be able to do those things.
Definitely. So the game of football is a direct reflection of how you lead your life. How did football prepare you for life after football? With everything that entails, the character, the integrity, the honor, the willingness to keep going, that type of character, individuality.
I would say it's a little bit of both because, you do get a lot of perks and it could change you in some ways. But I think what happens is when you're humble and you get to see that the game goes on without you, you realize it's not about you. You're a part of it. You need to take advantage of it, use it for what it is, and go from there. But football shouldn't define you. It shouldn't define you at all. You should be able to play the game and still, like I said, be a solid person. That's very important. Gotcha. So it helped me in some instances, but I think just that's if you are who you are.
Yeah.
And a sport doesn't define who you are.
It's brought to you by Poker Face Cigars and Ike Griffin. How do you feel about the minority hiring process or lack thereof, not only in the NFL, but the sports industry overall?
We got to be willing to help each other, man. Honestly. And guys that take these jobs got to understand that you have a responsibility to coach and do your job at a high level, period. The problem is, right, you got some guys that get in and they mess it up for the next guy.
Yep.
And, people want to hire people that they know.
There you go.
Right? So we got to get in a situation and we got to be willing to help each other do what we got to do. And if you don't do that, then we're going to have problems. And that's kind of the problem that we've been having. That's what I think. I think that when I get an opportunity to help somebody, I'm gonna do it. But they need to be qualified too. You know what I mean?
That's right.
They need to be
Absolutely.
qualified, and they need to understand that you're holding a lot of people's lives in your hand. You're responsible for doing your job.
You're right about
Yeah,
that.
it's not just you or you're affecting and when you're actually performing on that level.
Yes, I get my butt to work early every day. We got a chance to be in a little bit later because we have a night practice tonight. But I'm gonna be there 3-4 hours early, probably just working on trying to make sure I can help my guys be the best that they could be, creating situations for them so that they could be the best they could be.
You're gonna be in the
That's
bubble,
important.
huh?
Yeah, that's important to me. Yeah, we're in the bubble tonight. I believe we're in the bubble. We're in the bubble tonight.
Okay.
And in the stadium tomorrow. But again, like just trying my best to always do the best I can. And I'm learning, right? So when you're learning something, you got to put that time in. You got to put that overtime in.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go over and beyond, right? I don't care what everybody else is doing. They already been here. I'm new. So I'm eating a lot of things for myself to make sure that not only I could be a good coach now, but be a good coach in the future as well.
That's right. You know, you really brought something up that I think really needs to be pulled out is the fact that you talked about you get, because you mentioned earlier that you try to get to work by 5:30, right? Or you try to get there a couple hours ahead of time, and that's something. First of all, that's what folks notice that. Mm-hmm. I don't care who you are, and you know, we talked with some of our other those who we interviewed, and they talked about getting noticed, right? The only way you're going to get noticed one of two ways. First of all, it's doing something that people that either people don't typically do, mm-hmm. whether it's good or bad.
Yep.
And so the thing is when you're trying to make a path, right, for the next person, you have to make sure that what you're getting noticed is for the good. Mm. Right? Like if somebody says, "Hey, Coach Herm or AP, tell me a little bit about Chris." Well, the one thing that they can definitely say is, man, the dude is going to be the first one to the building every day. First one to get there, last one to leave. That speaks volumes of somebody, because they can look you up they can Google you. Yep. And look and see, what you've done on the field. But when you put that, wait, he's still doing this like this. I can see him when he did it in his in his playing days, but he still's the first one to get there and the last one to leave. That's something that we need to make sure is a staple of what we do.
See, that's also something that you have to do as a pro in football to prepare you for professional life.
Absolutely.
So that just should be who you are. You know what I mean? And just you gotta always work to outwork everybody, right? No matter what it is, whether you're playing, coaching, whatever. If you're gonna do it, right? Put your all into it and learn, right? Because I'm still learning. I'm lucky to have some great guys in the building with me that I can learn from and ask questions and hear the stories and understand why Marvin Lewis went to play the under defense or over defense, and how the Baltimore Ravens were continually transforming themselves over the. I know how to use a guy if I draft a guy and maybe adapt him to our personnel to what we're doing. You know what I mean? So, again, man, they see me in there. Hopefully they see me work, but if they don't, I'm just gonna do what I do, work hard every day, and not let that be an issue, right? The things that you can control, you try to control. The things that you can't, you know what I'm saying? You try to get advice or figure out a way to get it better.
That's right. That's right. Now, this is going to be the final question. I know you're busy, man, but it's a very important question.
Okay.
Who would you consider the best college team of the 2000s out of these three? 2019 LSU, 2004 USC, or 2001 Miami Hurricanes?
You want my answer?
Man, it's gotta be between Miami and SC for sure. Because when you look at it, you look at the draft guys like Miami, that 2001 team, right? They have Brian McKinney, Dan Morgan, right?
They had Ed Reed. Was Jonathan Vilma on that team?
Yeah, he was.
I mean, ooh. And then you look at that 04 team, and they was loaded, right? A lot of draft picks. Me, I'm a homer, so I'm gonna go with my Trojans
already.
I gotta give respect to Miami because that was probably, between those two draft classes, those are some of the best draft classes ever.
Well, LSU isn't done with their draft class yet out for that team. Me having Louisiana ties, I gotta go with my boys LSU, especially since I don't have
I know, I love families from Louisiana. That's one of my squads. It's SC and LSU, but that Miami team, man, they was cold.
Yeah, they were.
They was very, yeah. So was that 04 SC team. So it's like, man, that's a great question though.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a great question.
Oh yeah. It's open ended.
That's a great
just
question.
Those three teams. But definitely. Well, man, hey, I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you for your words, and your wisdom and everything of your story that people can use, to integrate in their everyday life. We really appreciate you. Oh, tell Herm to give us a call too.
All right, man. I gotta get y'all. I gotta try to talk to the OG, man. That's a busy man. You think I'm busy? That's a man.
Definitely. Next week we have Coach Scotty Graham, running backs coach from
Coach Graham.
It should be interesting. Yes, sir.
Well, Scotty was at Arizona State, right? So he'll know some things, about that I don't know.
Yeah, personally. There you go.
Well, but yeah, that's cool, man.
Oh yeah,
that's cool.
Well, thank you a lot. Thanks a lot, man, and enjoy the rest of
your
day.
Man, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate y'all having me, man, and thank you. Hey, Hassan, much love, man.
Yeah, bro. Love you too, man. Tell the fam I said what's up, and we'll catch up.
All right, see you soon.
All right, bro.
Hey, that was cool, man.
Bro, like I said, for me, that it's surreal. Like I told you, I don't put nothing but Cowboys behind me, bro.
Yeah, I know.
I don't put nothing but Cowboys behind me. This, like I said, 5 years old, man.
Yeah,
first day we met, we got into a fight.
Yeah.
Been friends ever since.
With that guy?
You remember me as a kid, But no, man, it was great interview, man. This, just a stand-up dude. He's been a stand-up guy his whole life, and I can vouch for that.
Mm-hmm.
But just when you talk about his work ethic, when you talk about the fact, and one we didn't really even get into was the mentoring, right? He always the whole time talked about helping other people, other people helping him. That's how we get there. I don't care whether we're talking about sports. I don't care whether we're talking about education. I don't care whether we're talking about politics. I don't care whether we're talking about just life overall. The only way we're going to get there is if we help each other.
That's right, man. That's why it's very important to get him on, man. His story, I've been following for a long time, and I think it'd be very beneficial, to some people out there that, need some words of encouragement or, like I said, the know-how to get up and go and keep excelling,
Yeah. Well, and even just overcoming adversity, because we didn't even really get a chance to talk about it, but like I remember right before training camp when he lost his father.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was, and I remember it so well because a friend of mine at the University of Tulsa had just got drafted by the Lions, Todd France, and I said, hey, when you get up there, tell Chris, if you don't mind, give Chris my number, tell him to give me a call. Well, he went up there for the rookie camp, and Chris had to leave because he had lost his father, man. And I see, growing up, I remember how big of a deal that was for him. So, like, one thing I can say in sports, having that team around you, that camaraderie, those folks that'll help pick you up when you're down. One thing I know, just because of the person that he is, that he had a lot of folks that that had his back and that helped keep him up when he was down, especially in that particular situation. But the thing is you look at the way that he played, even moving forward, that he definitely, he didn't use that as a crutch, if you will, to keep him down, but it only propelled him to do great things.
Yeah, that's right, man. Hey, we just finished another great interview. I really appreciate you, and we appreciate our guest.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to get out of here now from ASAP Elite, signing off.